Hello everyone, we just finished our previous section on making an individual LED flash via the code on the Arduino. Now we're going to do this a little more complicated by introducing multiple LEDs and flashing them in cool sequences. So basically we're just going to assemble the same circuit from the previous section but multiple times. We're going to do it 8 times and then we're going to write code using loops to iterate through all the LEDs and flash them, and it'll give us good practice with programming the Arduino environment and assembling a little more complicated circuits. So basically we're just going to assemble the same circuit multiple times. So choose a digital pin, this one's D2, take your LED, take your jumper, and this time we're going to connect it to the negative rail on the breadboard, which is this column here. You can see that there's a minus. That's traditionally connected to ground, and all of the holes in this column are going to be connected to each other. So we're going to connect one jumper from the ground pin. Oops, I accidentally connected that to ground there. There we go. That's what I wanted. Now the resistor is connected to D2. I had it connected to ground before. And then we're going to connect the ground to this negative rail. So now all of our circuits can connect to this rail instead of all relying on that one pin. And because we're going to have more circuits than there are little holes here, there's 3 of them, we're going to have 8 LEDs, this is necessary. And it's good practice to do stuff like that. Helps make your circuit a little more clear. All right, now we're going to connect another resistor to D3. Another LED, then another jumper to the ground. And notice how I am assembling all of the LEDs close to each other after another and with pins in order. So they're counting upward, I believe. So this will help with our loops because then it'll allow us to select each LED by scaling by 1 with a for loop, which will then help make our code a lot easier and nicer when we get to that. It'll also make our little flashing show make a little more sense to the eye. There'll be a noticeable order to it. It'll help us debug it because we'll know what to expect when it's running. All right, hello everyone. So I have just completed our circuit here. I have now 8 LEDs and 8 resistors. Each LED is connected to a separate digital pin, and now we will go to writing the code. All right, hello everyone. We just finished assembling our circuit, our 8 LED circuit that will allow us to control each one via different digital pins on the Arduino. Now that we've assembled the circuit, we actually need to write the software to get each of them to blink. So it's going to look very similar to the software from the previous section in that we're not introducing any new concepts. It's just using digital write and delays to turn each pin on or off. So the first thing we need to do, just like in the previous one, is to initialize all of the pins that we're going to be using to output. So we could just copy and paste an individual line and change the numbers, like write pin mode 2, output, and then copy, paste, and then do it the same thing for 3. But instead, I think it'd be good practice to do a for loop. This will make it easier to debug and it is better organized. So we're going to do that here. So for int I equals 2, I is less than 10, I plus plus, because we connected all of the LEDs to the digital pins between 2 and 9, so we're going from 2 and less than 10. This is one of the more convenient ways to do it. Of course, you could have used different digital pins or skipped some of the digital pins, but then you can't really use a for loop as easily there. You'd have to be more creative, I suppose. So for each pin, so for each eye, we're going to set them all to output mode. So it's just going to run through the for loop and initialize them all outputs. Now, within loop, what we're going to do is write another for loop. So this for loop is going to go from 2 to 10, and then increment by 1 every time, just like the previous one. But instead of using pin mode, what we're going to do is digital write at I, high. We're going to delay by 500, so half a second. and then we're going to write low. So when this code executes, basically what's going to happen is setup will run once. It'll initialize them all to output pins. Then we'll get into the loop, and we will run a for loop within the outer loop. And the for loop will go from 2 until 10, and it'll initialize all of our pins in one by one to high, then delay, and then right low. So you'll see one LED turn on, turn off, the next will turn on, stay on briefly, and then turn off, and then it'll go from the very first pin to the last pin, and then it'll restart from the beginning again. So you'll see a sequence going from beginning to end, stop, beginning to end, stop, beginning to end, stop. All right, now we'll cut to what it looks like on the actual Arduino. All right, everyone, so now we've finished our circuit and the code for blinking multiple LEDs. So let's plug it in and see what happens. And as you can see, all of the LEDs are blinking one by one. It begins here at the beginning at 2 and then goes all the way to 9, where it eventually stops and then repeats from the beginning once again on an endless loop. Success! Well, that concludes our lab for today. If you liked this lab, make sure to check out our other videos, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Make sure also to leave in the comments below any ideas for different labs that you might be interested in, and we can try and design them and teach you all how to build them. All right, thank you.